Right here, I'm looking at page 9, line 7. It says there are no qualifying conditions for people 18 years or older unless they are enrolled in public schools. My question is, does that also include public universities?
It does not.
You're recognized for a follow-up.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Could you show me in the bill where that distinction is made?
Can you give me that page and line number again?
You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It is page 9, line 7.
Thank you for that. I'm not seeing it in the bill, but the state's definition of public schools does not include public universities. But thank you for the question.
Do you have another follow-up, Representative Dollins? You're recognized, and I'll ask you back in the queue after this one. Oh, yeah, you have a follow-up. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Okay, my next question is on page 48, line 18.
Okay.
It has to do with banking account information. It says, persons or entities applying for a temporary medical marijuana business license or applying to renew a medical marijuana business license shall submit the following to the authority. And on B, it says, a list of funds belonging to the applicant held in savings, checking, or other accounts maintained by a financial institution. The applicant shall provide for each account the name and information. This is applying to personal and business account, correct?
Hold on, I'm trying to find it. That wasn't helpful. Not see it. If I believe it would apply to both, yes.
Hey, members, please keep the conversations to a minimum. Hard to hear. Leader Pfeiffer, could you repeat your answer? I couldn't hear what you said either.
Thank you. I believe it would apply to both, but I'm trying to check. Yes, we believe it does. Thank you for the...
Leader Pfeiffer, could you speak up a little bit, please?
Oh, I apologize. Yes, we believe it applies to both business and personal.
Representative, I've noticed in this bill it changes the definition of marijuana. On page 28, line 2, it's changing the definition to any plant or material derivative not defined therein shall be defined by the authority.
Do you respect that question, Representative Pfeiffer?
Why is that?
Thank you for that question. As this industry's emerged, we're trying to better define these things, and we're trying to make sure that Delta variants are supervised and overseen by somebody. That's why we changed the definition.
You're recognized for a follow-up.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I think you spoke to the problem in that previous answer, but could you expand a little bit more on what was the previous problem with the original definition?
It didn't include Delta variants. Thank you for the question.
You're recognized.
Thank you very much. And what was the problem with that?
Delta variants, some of them are legal under current federal definitions, some of them are not. And because these are controlled substances, we are trying to make sure they are overseen by somebody, which is why we changed the definition.
You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Along the lines of being federally legal, this still has the $50,000 bond requirement. With this not being federally legal, do you see some issues with people being able to acquire bonds?
No, I don't. The bond requirement passed and is already in state law. What this does is allow OMMA to maintain and set up rules about the bond requirement.
Screw you guys, I'm going home. That was Lawson's recommendation. No, this actually is a serious matter, Mr. Speaker. Oklahoma is one of 26 states with the power of direct democracy, the ballot initiative, veto referendum. We are also one of the strictest and most difficult states in the country out of those 26 to get a ballot initiative passed. The citizen-led ballot initiative, the people in 2018 used it to pass State Question 788. They put in countless hours, time, and energy in collecting enough signatures and then getting it passed. And now, ever since then, the state of Oklahoma, the legislature has taken measure after measure to dismantle the will of the people. And I promise you, in citizen-led ballot initiatives that people put that much time and energy into, when the legislature starts to dismantle it piece by piece, there will be consequences to pay. Senate Bill 437 is basically 16 medical marijuana bills all rolled into one. It's changed authorship 4 times. Why is that? Well, because it's clear that the language is poorly written. It's to be determined on the exact definition of public schools. It's creating qualifying conditions for people 18 years and older who could be in community college or public colleges across the state. And it has a prepackaging requirement. We've talked about this on the floor in the past. The standard way of transporting marijuana from a grow to a dispensary is in 1-pound bags. This bill requires you to dismantle or take away the 1-pound bags and put the marijuana in 6 3-ounce bags. This does nothing but benefit those who've invested in the packaging industry. It also requires $50,000 bonds. I believe that that was put in for self-serving purposes. There are First Amendment violations on event bans. I think, as the author or the person presenting earlier said, that the OMMA will have access to people's personal financial bank accounts. There's really no reason for that. Every bank account and personal finances will have to be disclosed. The temporary license mandate is a debacle that we didn't even get to get into. And the increased marijuana licensing fees that we've seen on this multi-billion-dollar industry year after year have had devastating consequences. And I feel that if we pass this bill today, that could be one of the final nails in the coffin. And for those reasons, for the 10,000 businesses in Oklahoma and the 30,000 employees that the medical marijuana industry employs, I say that we start building this industry up instead of tearing it down. Help support the will of the people, not dismantle it. Vote no on this bill, and we can do better. Thank you.